I'm a big fan of the Suzuki books for learning repertoire and working with my students. Suzuki has a great way at selecting repertoire because they really work you through pieces to address certain technical aspects. I especially like that they include so many Baroque pieces in the books. That being said, the Suzuki books don't typically give full information on all the pieces in the books. All of the pieces come from some larger classical work, but are arranged for a solo instrument with piano accompaniment for learning purposes. Usually I take the time to tell my students a little bit about where the piece came from and maybe a note or two about the composer. I thought it would be really fun, because I play these pieces so often with my students, to take one of the Baroque pieces from the Suzuki books and play it on my Baroque cello in Baroque style. This Gavotte is written by J.S. Bach, and in the cello books it's in C minor, but in the violin books it's in G minor, and the original piece is actually in G minor. We know it's a Gavotte, but we don't know where it comes from or what the larger work is. A gavotte is simply a kind of dance in the Baroque period, so we see lots of movements with the name gavotte, just like we see minuet and bourrée, and we don't necessarily know which minuet or which bourrée the piece actually is. So this gavotte comes from a keyboard piece by J.S. Bach and has been rearranged either for solo cello or solo violin by the Suzuki books. Because it comes from keyboard music, there's actually not any slurs in the original part. I'll be preserving a lot of the slurs from the Suzuki book because it works pretty well to add these slurs when playing on a string instrument. But just be aware that Bach himself did not write these slurs. I'm working straight out of the Suzuki books for this performance, so even though I'm adapting a few things, the edition that I'm using is still the Suzuki book. If you're studying this piece on modern cello, my interpretation is going to be a little bit different. The biggest differences you'll notice will just be in playing style, with the way I use the bow, the sound of the gut strings, and my general articulations. Suzuki puts in a lot of editorial markings, so a lot of those are not following, and I'm just treating it as though it's an actual Baroque manuscript and it has no dynamics, very few, if any, slurs, and taking the piece for what it is. Another important component of the Baroque period was ornamentation, so I'll also be throwing some ornaments into this. This is more of a fun experiment to take a piece that we usually hear on modern instruments played by students and play it with more of a historical lens. I love the Suzuki books, but I wish they gave more background and more information on some of the pieces they include. I'm thinking of recording more Suzuki pieces like this on my Baroque instrument and talking a little bit about the pieces as well. If there are any other pieces you like from the Suzuki books, be sure to leave them in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. If you like these videos, subscribe to my channel as I do new videos every week. If you want to help support me make more videos and improve the quality of them, you can become my patron on Patreon.